say, well, what did you learn? They say, nothing. And the regulators say, well, that's not really good. The other problem is that doing work around these projects turns out to be incredibly complicated. These are really harsh environments to be doing studies, even in the absence of marine energy. They're not well-studied areas. And when we think about actually doing studies in these areas, it's really not much easier to put environmental instrumentation in the water than it is to actually put the converter in the water. And that's a real challenge, and I think that's one of the main limitations of why we don't know more than we do today. Okay, so where do we stand today? We're at a bit of a paradox. If environmental monitoring costs remain at their existing level of total project costs, and our timeline from learning something to moving forward remains where it was, the industry will be crippled. But if early commercial projects cause environmental harm, the industry may also be crippled. So think about Altamont Pass for wind energy, right? You know, everyone knows that wind turbines kill birds. They don't really. It's mostly because of Altamont Pass. It was a wind site that was put up in a raptor migration flyway. Many bird fatalities. Most modern wind turbines are not really that bad for birds. But if we rush ahead, we have the risk of having an Altamont Pass for marine energy as well. So how do we avoid impacts without incurring these really high costs? And this is something that was the subject of a recent workshop I worked with one of my collaborators with at PNNL. There's a webinar about it tomorrow morning if you'd like more information. So to think about how we get through here, one of the challenges is retiring risk. And when I say retiring risk, I mean this idea that often the objective of monitoring is to collect information that improves the certainty of evaluating a certain risk. And risk is the frequency of an interaction multiplied by its consequences, by its outcome. Ideally, over time, significant risks can be recognized. They can be mitigated through changes to converter design or optimization. In some cases, this means